Good evening from Sacred Space at Titania's Realm. It's Tanya Aarons coming to you from Brisbane, Australia at 6:31 p.m. on this almost sunset evening, and a full moon I might add too. And Chag Sameach to all my Jewish people throughout the world. It is Purim tonight. So today I felt like hell actually. I haven't felt well at all today. I just feel like death warmed up. But I was lying on the couch feeling, crook and maudlin and seedy and a bit off. And I thought, what can the psychedelic dreamer, that is me, do to achieve something today? So I went out and I cranked up my, can you see it? Here it is. Cranked up my new Smith little torch that I'm paying off over 12 months, by the way, people. But it works well. I'm very happy with it. The only thing is I've run out of oxygen in the gas bottle. I should have bought a much larger oxygen bottle, but it cost quite a bit of money, so I just bought the smallish one. And I've used all that oxygen up, so now I have to refill it. And refilling it costs $65 each time, which isn't too bad, I suppose, in the broad scheme of things. But I'll have to wait. So anyway, I poured scrap wire, which I cleaned. This one's much cleaner and newer looking, but this one I did clean in the pickle, but it didn't come up as shiny and as nice as the other one. Is in a much better, newer looking state. These I just rescued from old bits of electrical wire. So I thought I'll have a go, I'll try again, inspired by watching Nick's creative YouTube, Nick's creative something. Anyway, he teaches you how to make jewellery. He makes the most beautiful silver Celtic looking chains, which is something I aspire to do when I can afford some more sterling silver wire. And he shows you how to melt copper, scrap copper, like this, and like these little globby bits. But I'm doing something wrong. I'll tell you what I'm doing wrong. Here's my tongs, and these aren't great tongs either, so they were, I don't know why I bought those. Stupidity, lack of wisdom, lack of foresight, lack of knowledge. Don't buy these, they're cheap and they're nasty and they don't even grip very well. But anyway, I bought the little crucible that went with these. They weren't dear, they weren't dear, and that's probably why I bought them, thinking, oh, they'll do. But no, you buy cheap tools, you live by the sword. Shut up, Beauregard. You die by the sword, right? So the little crucible that fit these, I have burnt copper in them before with very limited success. In fact, I had trouble burning. But in those days, which was only about 2 months ago, I was using MAP gas, and MAP gas doesn't get enough heat to melt copper, as I discovered. Shh, Beauregard, I'm making a video. Don't be rude. He wants to play ball, which means he shoves the ball in inappropriate places, like under furniture, and then yelps at me to get it out. It's called the fence game. He normally shoves the ball under the fence and makes me run after that 20 times a day. Drives me mad. So anyway, where was I? Digress. So today, although I felt off and seedy and not very well, I thought, well, I'll melt copper with my little torch. And I knew I didn't have a lot of oxygen left in the gas bottle. I knew it was running low. So I thought I'll just see if I can melt the copper in time before I run out of oxygen in the gas bottle. Literally run out of oxygen. My asthma's been shocking in the past week, which is partly why I feel so awful and crook. I did manage to go dancing on Friday night, but even then my asthma was not real great, so I had a good time, but I got very tired and I felt quite weak. But anyway, these are interesting little globby bits. Can you see them? Here they are. These are what's left from my melting in the crucible. I managed to get the copper out because bits of the crucible, this is how tiny it is, that's the bowl of the crucible, right? Bits of the crucible actually cracked apart, so I thought, well, bugger that, it's broken anyway. So I smashed it, although because it was already breaking apart, I smashed it and rescued the copper out. So not all of my copper melted, and that'll be because either I didn't get it hot enough, or the crucible wasn't large enough, which I suspect was the problem. And so I got that, and I managed to get this poured into the angle iron according to, you know, Nick's wonderful creative YouTube video that shows you how to make a bracelet out of copper bar that you pour into angle iron. Well, I got this. Well, it's just over 2 inches long, about two and a half inches long. So not long enough to make a bangle out of, and not quite uniform enough. But I'll shh, stop it. I'm making a video for YouTube, Beauregard. But I might just still hammer it into shape and just have a play with it anyway, because I'm halfway there, I guess. And then if I'm not happy with it, I'll just melt it down again when I get a bigger crucible. So I've messaged Nick on his YouTube. He's actually very good at responding and to his commentators in his comment section to people like me that go, oh, I had to go and what did I do wrong? What did I do wrong? Because I'm a bit of a loser, you know. But I am trying, so I'm not really a loser because I'm trying really, 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 really hard. So anyway, I'm going to have to kill that dog. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. I'm going to have to kill you. You do understand. What have you done? No! Not now when I'm making a YouTube video. I can't even see the ball. Where is it? Oh, look, not my monkey, not my circus, Beauregard. So, anywho, so I'm going to try and source a steel crucible, which will just be some kind of steel round pot, thick, have to be thick angle iron, and like a round bowl, bigger than that. So I asked my friend to ask her neighbour, who is a steel fabricator, because he's the person that gets me scraps of steel. So he's the person I got my anvil from. It's not a proper anvil, but it's a big hunk of steel which works well for an anvil until such times I can afford a proper steel anvil with a horn and that. So I got that big piece of steel from him, and he also gave me the piece of steel that I used to make this, the angle iron, which when I first responded to Nick's videos, I went, what's angle iron? I had no idea. So now I have a piece of angle iron. Yay! I'm on the road to nowhere. And I can make bars of copper, provided I can melt the bars of copper. And I think next time I will melt all of this and this and these little tiny little scrappy bits here that just globbed apart. Well, there's those little balls. See that little ball there? I don't know if you can see it. They can be used to solder on silver for decorations or something, or on copper bracelets. So I could reuse them for that. But anyway, I'm a little bit obsessed now because I need to get... Shit! Sorry, my obsessive compulsive dog just knocked over the gas bottle, which is empty. But I also hope he didn't break anything because, shit, yeah, it's all loose now. Well, that's not good, is it? Far out, Beauregard. Ah, Sorry, throwing a temper tantrum here. It's empty. It's not, doesn't pose a threat, but I'm just worried that he broke the regulator, the regulating thingy. You see, everything I try to achieve is on the other side of pain, exhaustion, chronic fatigue, asthma, poverty, and mad dogs chasing balls in my studio, which is not really good. Okay. Oh God, it did loosen up a bit. Shit. Can't have that, Beauregard. I need that to be... Anyway, I've got to undo it anyway when I take it back to get the gas replaced, so it's not really a drama, is it? And I can see what happened there. I tied it up to the ladder and he knocked the ladder over. Right, get out, get out, get out. Marnie's making a video and you're being naughty. Out. That'll solve that problem. All this is live on video for YouTube. Anyway, it's all good. Crisis over. I'm just that nervous about even having gas bottles in the house, but it's safe because if it leaks, there's nothing to leak out. And, well, that's probably good that didn't happen while I was... But I don't use them for melting inside the house. I've got my own little station set up outside. I don't want accidents like that happening. Oh my goodness. So anyway, what was I saying? Yes, that's where I was. Have to regroup now. So I just need a steel bowl shape of metal, thick bowl. And you know what's ironic? I just realised I had a piece of, it was a cap left over from the top of the fence that was just a random piece left over when they did the fencing. I think I threw the bloody thing out. I could have used that. It would have been a perfect crucible for melting copper in. I wonder if I've still got it lying around somewhere, if I chucked it. I probably chucked it because in those days I had no inclination or idea that I was going to be melting metal in crucibles. It would have been a perfect crucible though, because it was literally like, you know, that size and quite deep. It would have been perfect. I'll have to look around, see if I've got it lying somewhere, lying around. I don't think I have though. But anyway, so I could probably use, but they're only tin, so they'd melt too quickly. No, I need a thick chunk of either aluminium, but preferably steel, so it can take the heat, right? Yeah, it will have to be steel to take the heat from the copper, because the copper's got a really high melt temperature. Like, it's actually hard to melt. And the only way I could do it, that I even achieved this, was with my little Smith torch. So, there you go. That's my video, showing you my latest shenanigans. And while I was doing that, my dog, being the king of all shenanigans. Well, it's a sign that I should go tomorrow and get that oxygen bottle replaced. I mean, refilled. There's nothing wrong with the bottle. Just get it refilled. And, yeah, I hope he hasn't damaged the regulator because they're bloody expensive. Little basket. Anyway. We're good, we're all good. So I'll put the copper away. That actually would make an interesting pendant in a way, even in its state that it's in now. Could drill a hole in it and stick a pearl in front of it and say, melted personality of the psychedelic dreamer. It was so hot today. It was really hot and I was really unwell. So I deserve a high five for even trying in spite of my health issues and the extreme heat and not having much money to buy all the things I need. So yes, I need to buy another flask. Because this one melted almost completely through now. When the silver melted on it, it melted it through, and then last time I got another casting which failed because it was this stupid ring that I think needs to be made out of wax, or you can't sand cast it, just won't work. So I'm disappointed about that, very disappointed, because that was actually the thing that inspired me to buy the sand casting in the first place. Because I bought that cheap online thinking it was sterling silver. It came without a stone and zinc alloy. I was livid, absolutely livid. So yes, I have a tendency to get ripped off by con artists, so not good. That's been a lifelong pattern, including being ripped off by my own family of origin, the disgusting dogs that they are. So anyway, the reason why I'm a little bit squidgy mentally and broke and don't have my own home and swimming pool anymore. So the idea, people, is that I aspire to be financially independent. It's too late at this late stage of my life. Financially independent, solvent, thriving, creative jewellery maker, and have pride and self-esteem in my own abilities and recycle things from bits and pieces and make things and take joy and, enjoy what's left in my life. I do aspire deep down to own my own home again, but I'd have to win lotto for that. I'm not going to ever be able to get enough money to buy my own home making jewellery out of scrap metal, since nobody buys whatever I make anyway. It's like heartbreaking. But also, I need to have a certain standard of quality, and that was good enough anyway, so that will take time to gain proficiency. So yes, the psychedelic dreamer is dreaming. Today is my former dead father's birthday, and now that the sun is set, it's Purim. I don't have any alcohol in the house to get drunk with, and traditionally you get drunk in Purim and you stamp out the names of all your enemies and you act as silly as a wheel. But I do that every Friday night dancing at the casino. So Purim Shmurim. I don't need a penciled in holiday to act out, people. And I don't get drunk every weekend, by the way, but I have a couple of drinks. So anywho, I'm excited that my Smith little torch does melt the copper, and I just need to persevere with it, get a crucible that holds the heat without cracking apart, and I'm on my way. I think I'm halfway there. I'm on the way to somewhere instead of being on the way to nowhere. I really like the shiny copper. I love copper. Look how pretty it is. But it's very, very thin. It came out of cables. And this one's so discoloured. Even though I cleaned it in the pickle, it still doesn't look very nice. But anyway, I'll melt it and I'll make a globby bar like that. And then I'll make something out of it. Maybe a ring or a bangle or something. So, yes, have a wonderful evening, day, morning, lunchtime, wherever you are in the space-time continuum, and greetings from my sacred space to your sacred space. And yes, don't let the doggies get into your torches, little varmint. And life goes on. Ciao for now. Bye-bye.